What's good, family? Hope everyone is having a blessed day, blessed Sunday afternoon. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I appreciate all y'all who always support and pushing the channel. I appreciate y'all. Of course, I have my brother, Coach 67 Sports TV, on deck with me. What's going on, brother?
Man, I am blessed and highly favored on this blessed communion Sunday afternoon. How you doing, bro?
Man, I can't complain at all about anything. Um, but we about to talk about this football drama that's been going on, especially. And we talked about it on HBCU Fanatics, man. But it's so outrageous. It spilled on the Southern Baller Show. We just had to talk about it. We can't avoid it, man.
Yeah, yeah.
How did and don't get me wrong, just because you are invited to the NFL Combine, that does not mean you're gonna get drafted. We understand this. But the NFL Combine is for to show the talents of all the players that the NFL scouts have did their research and basically do their research on just not just in the FBS and the FCS. Those who don't know why we crying about this, not really crying, but for us the brothers is an outrage. Only one damn player from an HBCU mate was invited to the NFL Combine.
A kicker at that.
A white kicker from North Carolina A&T. And I feel like, oh well, that doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because there was a lot of players that played last season that could have made it to the combine. Well, they're not that good. That's a lie. That's a lie from the pits of hell. You know why? Jamari Taylor, whose origins was from North Carolina Central, he transferred to Virginia, but he's from an HBCU, the MEAC. He did his thing at the combine, but that he's a homegrown no HBCU player. So I don't want to hear that. These players ain't getting looked at, man, and it's irritating. And this is not the first year, but this year is more. It's keeps on every year after year. Keeps getting more blatant, more, more, more. The NFL does more where they do little signs of showing how the HBCU schools are put on the back burner as far as they're not being scouted. That's why I appreciated our my Baltimore Ravens for selecting uh Carson Vincent from A&M. But there, even with that, there was more players that could have been drafted. Coach, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know, I'm real passionate about it because I love HBCU football, and more than anything, it's not just a reflection on just HBCU football or the HBC community that we are part of. It's just the society we live in, a white supremacist society, in terms of double standards and not giving black people the opportunities they really deserve. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know people gonna be like, well, the vast majority of the players in the NFL are black. We understand that, but the players from the HBCU realm and the HBCU ranks, they deserve at least a shot or opportunity to be able to play on a high stage. And if they're not getting invited to the combine, then how you expect for them to get drafted and how you expect them to make it to the NFL? And of course, I'm not gonna lie, one thing I can't stand about Facebook or just social media in general, it seems like it's just a cesspool for negativity and negative individuals. Me personally, I'm a individual that sees the glass being half full as opposed to half empty. And personally, I don't mind if you disagree with me as long as you're respectful. But the issue I have with certain individuals is like the only thing they have to say is something negative. And you know, my parents taught me that when it comes to certain situations, if I don't have anything positive to say, then don't say anything at all. But I posted the link, to promote the shows that we do. I always promote I always promote it on my channel in terms of sharing the link for for the show that we do, and then in addition to that, I share it in multiple Facebook groups I'm in, multiple HBCU Facebook groups I'm in, and then of course I don't even know who this clown is. I don't even want to say his name because I don't want to give him no shine. I don't care even if you do have like 1,900 Facebook friends. Who cares? I posted this in Rough and the Swag, and whoever this clown is, he was like, all he had was 6 uh, FCS invites. Period. Like these people that disgrace the HBCU community. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like, if you ain't got nothing positive to say, why are you coming with negativity? And I guarantee you, I'll be willing to bet dollars to donuts. He didn't actually click the link and actually watch the live stream that we have to
Yeah,
know.
that's what they do. They don't like the
Oh,
title,
that's
and
all
they
they do.
they
Look
respond.
at look at the title and they respond. And this the reason why I know it's the case, because to this day, my most viewed video was the video that I dropped last Saturday of the Marshall Falk situation. In terms of Jaguar Nation is divided, and then of course a lot of other HBCU uh, you know fans and fan bases, they chiming in on the topic. Now, the way AI constructs a lot of these titles, they are clickbaity type titles from the standpoint of more than anything, they want you to click on it. And the same thing I said, the same strategy I use in terms of to push my content, I share it in multiple HBCU fan groups and Facebook groups that I'm in. Right. And so many people, I promise you, they didn't even actually click on the link and listen to the live stream so they could have some constructive criticism and give feedback. They just saw the title and they responded without even watching the video. And I'm like, to get full context, I promise you, this was my response. It was, I mean, even though a lot of the comments were negative, really, I'm not even gonna say negative. I'm gonna say half of them probably was about down the middle, because half of Jaguar Nation was in agreement with me, half of Jaguar Nation was in agreement with Perry White of the Jaguar Journal from the perspective of, they feel like, I guess he could do more as the head coach of Southern in terms of promoting Southern University's brand and saying, hey, I'm actually the head coach of Southern at this point. But the point I'm trying to make is not to really make it about Southern in particular, but the point I'm trying to make is so many people commented to my Facebook post without actually clicking the link and listening to the live stream in terms of not the live stream but the video in terms of what I said, and they only responded to the title of the video without actually getting the full context and watching the video. And I could see if it was one of our live stream where you and I went like an hour, even I went like an hour. No, it was only a 12-minute video, and they responded. I had so many comments in all these different Facebook groups. And like I said, about half the comments were negative. But the point I'm trying to make is you don't even know what I'm talking about without actually watching the video. Because even in one of Southern University football Instagram groups I'm in, I posted it, and the chick immediately was like, "Don't piss me off." And I'm like, baby, you don't even know what the video is about for you to have that response. And I understand it's a viral topic and a lot of people have been talking about it, but you actually have to click the video to see what the video is about. You just can't look at the title and automatically assume it's something negative. So I think that's an issue that too many black people have in terms of just the negativity overall, the divisiveness, the tribalism amongst black people. But more than anything, uh, individuals like you and I, we advocating for our HBCU football players. And I think even if they don't get drafted, even if they get picked up as undrafted free agents, more HBCU players, and I think FCS players in general need to get invites to the 2026 and just to the NFL Combine in general.
Facts, man. That's all we saying. What's up, Big Reg? He said, "What's up, everybody, man? Salute, man. Dope ass content creator right here, man. Him, Jada 6, 86 Ghosts. All three of them, man, have they linked together to do an awesome show every Friday around like 7 or 8 a.m. Depending on what time zone you're in. So y'all make sure y'all support this brother. Um, one of the upcoming shows on YouTube, man. So y'all make sure y'all support. Relaxing Common Rain. What's up, man? He said salute Jared, Coach Chat and family. Salute. Motivation to be a millionaire. Salute Jared, Coach 67 Chat and LDBC family. Yes, sir. And then my brother Jay Barr, he said salute family in chat. Appreciate you always supporting. Yeah, man, but it gets tiring, and people, and it hurts. And people like, why does it matter? It's only like you just said that person put six players only from the FCS in general only made it to the uh to the combine, was only invited to the combine. So you just gonna mention that so to deter us from only conversating, basically to deter us from the conversation, having the conversation of why only one HBCU player was invited. That's being a coward, because
Yeah.
you
Oh,
don't feel like having the conversation. You don't want us to talk about it.
and bro, this the irony of the whole situation. This was in Rough in the Swag Facebook group with Avis Heat. So it wasn't Avis Heat, it's one of the people. So you actually graduated from a HBCU, or at least an HBCU football fan. If anything, you should be happy we advocating instead of saying this is a disgrace to like HBCU football community. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna lie. As far as I'm concerned, he a bootlicking, book dancing, banana eating monkey. As far as I'm concerned,
Man, forget
I
these
don't have no
weirdo ass niggas around.
man.
Excuse
I
my
don't have.
language, but it is
I,
what it is.
I don't have no respect for people like him. And one of the sisters was responding to what he said, and basically it was like, you do understand, like HBCU should be in a category all its own, as opposed to what you saying FCS. Because when we talk about the HBCU umbrella, we talking about uh FCS HBCU schools, Division 1 and Division 2 and NAIE HBCU schools. So she tried to point that out to him, but he basically responded with like, basically this type of conversation is like it's you know basically saying like it's a disgrace to the HBCU football community. I'm like, man, of course I didn't even put a response because I'm thinking to myself, I don't respond to that type of buffoonery and negativity.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. You
but
did the
people
right thing,
online
coach.
are just overtly negative. I think most of the content that's viral in 2026 on social media, I think the vast majority of it is negative. Whether we talk about news or whether we just talk about just social media in general. And I think a lot of people are just miserable. And I think these type of comments and these type of responses, you know, it kind of shows that people are miserable.
Yeah. Jada 6 said, howdy, man. We just talk about you, man. What's up? What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming by. Relaxing Calm Rain said, big facts, coach. We need to stick together, HBCU community. But you know what? People, let me see. And unfortunately, this is what a lot of black people do. If they feel like the side they're on, even if they're the side they're on, it relates to their skin color or their um, ethnic group. If they feel like that the side that they're on is losing, they're gonna they're going to represent the winning side.
I mean, I agree with that notion and that premise, but to me, I don't even think that was his approach and stance. I think he just was on some niggerdom as far as I'm concerned.
No,
I think
no,
it
I'm
was,
not just talk. Just as far as just break it down to mindset. You could
No,
take
no, no, no.
football out of it.
I agree with you. I think when you in 7-8 point out those type of things, I think y'all are both 100% accurate, and I feel you. But I think in this context, now I mean I think overall you're right, but I think in this context, I don't even think that was his approach. I think he's just like, hey, if all you got is 6 FCS invites to the combine in general, like, hey, this stupid, this a disgrace to the HBCU football community. I'm thinking to myself, man, you are ignorant ninja. And I'm not gonna lie, you and I and
That's crazy.
talked about this behind the scenes. I talked to you about it, and I talked to Jay Good about it also. I'm not gonna lie, like when I had
Brother
this
Jay
situation,
Good.
when I had this situation, man, salute to Jay Good. You
Salute to
know,
Jay Good.
hopefully Pops is doing well. After his little surgery procedure
Yeah,
type.
praying for pops, man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, but like I was saying though, I was having this conversation with the two of y'all behind the scenes. And basically it was like after Marshall Falk got hired, I just kind of asked this question, and he's saying different Facebook groups that I'm in, HBCU football groups at that, Rough in the Swag Beef, so on and so forth, are just different Southern University Facebook groups in general, Southern University football Facebook groups. And I was like, hey, this was a general question. Like, hey, should Southern University like change their uniforms for next year? Bro, I kid you not. Even in Jaguar Nation. That's why I'm not surprised that you got all of this negativity when Marshall Falk didn't even make it to the Blue versus Gold spring game in 2026. And you got so many people saying, hey, Southern made a mistake. They shouldn't have hired him as the head coach. I'm not surprised because when I asked that simple question, hey, should Southern change their uniforms for this upcoming season now that you got Marshall Falk as the head coach? Bro, I kid you not, I was dragged in all these different Facebook groups. And I'm thinking to myself, even Jaguar Nation, I was surprised that you got so many like black people that are just, and I'm talking about highly educated black people with masters and doctorates and so on and so forth. And even them are like banana eating monkeys. I'm like, bro, this is like Tank Davis type conversation y'all having. Like,
Hmm.
and if you actually watched my content, it'll give you further context of how I was asking the question in terms of the context I was asking it in. But like I said, I guarantee you, if I got, and I'm not over exaggerating, if I got 500 comments, that might be on the lighter side, probably closer to 1,000 comments. And I mean, it ranged from the all the problems Southern got, and you worried about some uniforms, like you stupid, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie, I was getting dragged, and then it came to the point uh, where Adrian Crook and Merlin Alexis and Teldrin Leathers and these brothers like, man, y'all do understand that's coach, right? Like he got a whole like channel dedicated to Southern University football. Like, why are y'all dragging him? Like, this is a stupid conversation, y'all. They took the conversation and they perverted it and it went way left. But the point I'm trying to make is I'm using Southern University as an example, but it persists on so many different levels, whether we talking about HBCU football, whether we talking about NFL football, whether we talking about boxing, even, in the LDBC when we get to talking about like just say Tank Davis. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Tank Davis got so many like knuckle dragging, boot licking, buck dancing, banana eating monkey fans, like just a bunch of ignorant ninja type stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was shocked when I saw it in Jaguar Nation. So that's why when it comes to like having conversations, try to engage people to click on to my content, I strayed away from that. I just dropped the link, and even in this
That's a
conversation we
shame,
had,
man.
even in this conversation we have in how you only get one HBCU player, a white kicker at that, invited to the 2026 NFL Combine. Even this conversation brought out a lot of negativity. So it just goes to show you how in 2026, when it comes to social media, a lot of people in life in general are just miserable human beings. But social media, it kind of highlights that and it shows that. And salute to JB, man. Salute to your fam.
Salute, man.
What's up, fellas? Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm trying out some new Bluetooth, so y'all. Let me know if I sound weird. But yeah,
Yeah, you do sound a little bit different.
okay. Can you hear me clear though?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
Okay. But yeah, but what we talking about today, fellas?
you're just
Uh,
talking about
the NFL.
how the, yeah. Go ahead, coach.
Yeah, we was talking about the NFL Combine and how only one HBCU player was invited to the 2026 NFL Combine. Initially, it was none, but now you have one that's been invited, a white kicker from an HBCU at that. And basically, the conversation we was having was after every time we do HBCU fanatics, I posted to my YouTube channel in terms of the link for the live stream that we do, and not only that, I posted to all my social media platforms, and I posted in all the you probably saw it on Facebook, but I posted to my two personal Facebook pages, and then because I had an issue where somebody tried to hijack uh how they try to take over your Facebook page, and some kind of way I got
Yeah,
it. So I had two. So now I have two separate Facebook pages, right? So I posted it to the two of them, but I'm in a bunch of HBCU football groups, like Rough in the Swag with Avis Heat, Swag in the Food,
What up, Ghost?
Swag Beef, so on and so forth. So in all these different Facebook groups that I'm in, I was just posting a link to our live stream of HBCU Fanatics on Friday. And one person who is in one of these groups basically said some negative comments, and then one of the sisters in the group was basically saying like, hey, if only you saying only 6 FCS players was invited in general, but she was like HBCUs need their own lane in terms of you can't just group the HBCUs with FCS because
Right, she right.
H-
Yeah.
HBCUs entail FCS schools, and it entails uh Division 2 schools, Division 3 schools, and also like NAIA schools. So she was pointing this out, and he was like, basically, you know, content like this is a disgrace to like the football and the HBCU community. And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't even actually click the link and watch the live stream that we had on Friday night for you to even comment on it in general. So just go show you the ignorance of people on social media. And we just was talking about that, and it just kind of spun over in terms of the different, like all the negativity on Facebook and just social media in general. It's like a cesspool for nonsense and niggerdom and niggatry.
man. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think that's the reason why there are some brothers that don't watch the NFL. This type of stuff right here. Um, and of course we watch it because we love the sport. Kind of like how funny stuff happens in boxing, and brothers in the LDBC still follow boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like what's my boy name? Drew say. It's like we're battered wives. Since we love the sport, boxing and football, we just keep coming back no matter how much foul stuff goes on within the sport. But
Yeah, Drew
yeah, man,
Titan
they
did say
know
that.
that. Yeah, Drew Titan. Yeah. So um, you can't tell me that you can't find no talent, a cornerback, a running back, maybe a few offensive linemen, damn sure a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? That can help you in your team or to put on a practice squad. You can't say shit to me to believe it. Because I've seen for years to them, them draft, you know, from these Power Five schools, and them dudes just be garbage. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it's just the same shit, and you know, the only person who put the light on it, really, when he had the world on him. And I'm not saying that this wasn't brought up before, because I'm sure there's a lot of brothers in the HBCU realm that brought this up before. But I'm talking about the popular figure that brought it up when he had everybody watching him was Deion Sanders when he was at Texas State. He called out the NFL for not drafting, the HBCU players. So now that he's gone, now that they're going back to the same stuff. So it's just sad, man. And like I said last show, they're gonna find, some diamonds in the rough and free agency, and bring them on as undrafted free agency. But them brothers should have been drafted.
All right. And
Like
that
James Houston should have been drafted at least in the fifth to sixth round.
facts.
You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Langton, should have been drafted at least in the sixth or seventh round. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it is what it is, man. And I'm gonna keep saying this. Devontae Kincaid, you're not gonna tell me that Devontae Kincaid ain't better than a Nathan Peterson, ain't better than a Tommy DeVito. See, I watch this sport, so some shit you just can't say to me. So it is what it is.
Coach, haven't me and you been talking about this for
For
the
the
longest?
for the longest, bro.
Yeah, man. But people ain't trying to hear us. And then for that brother that said on social media that said our show is disgrace. Well, you a disgrace for not uh mentioning the issue. You would disgrace the HBCU fanatics by putting your head in the dirt, sticking your head in the dirt, and running and hiding from the topic.
Who said what now?
I'll be willing to bet dollars to donuts. He didn't even click the link to watch the live stream, to
It
listen
don't matter. Yeah. So
in
just by
that
you doing that, you ain't even concerned about what these young brothers coming from the HBCUs have to deal with. You the disgrace.
Who
man.
who, who said something about the SBS, man? Who said something about the SBS?
No, about the HBCU fanatics. Coach put our link in
different
on
different
Facebook.
different HBCU football Facebook groups that I'm in, like Swag the Fool, Rough and the Swag Beef, Swag Symposium, so on and so forth. In Rough and the Swag, there was this person that responded to the link for. That's where this conversation coming from in terms of not only one HBCU player being invited to the 2026 NFL Combine, but also from the perspective of the negativity on social media. He didn't actually click the link and watch the live stream and listen to the conversation that Jared and I was having. Basically, he just did a lot what a lot of these ignorant ninjas do on social media. He didn't click the link. He just responded to the title of the live stream, and he said something negative, and then one of the sisters in the group basically responded by saying, you saying only 6 FCS players total was invited to the 2026 NFL Combine. Like, you got to put HBCUs in their own lane, because it not only constitutes the FCS, but Division 2, Division 3, so on and so forth. So basically what she was saying is the HBCUs in this are in their own lane in general. And then he was like basically saying, like, this type of nonsense is a disgrace to the football community and HBCU football community. And I'm like, bro, like, people like that, they don't deserve a response from me, because all it's gonna end up being is a bunch of niggerdom. And like I say, I don't feed into negativity. I mean, if he'd have actually clicked the link and listened to the live stream, but like I say, I'll be willing to bet dollars to donuts. I'll be willing to bet my bottom dollar that he didn't even click the link and listen to the whole live stream. Because at that point, the show only had like 55 views from Friday night. So people like him, you making these comments and you didn't click the live stream to get full context of what transpired. So as far as I'm concerned, people like him, it, I mean, it highlights the negativity on social media. But like I said, I wouldn't give that energy because he ain't even worthy of me speaking on him in terms of giving him attention by putting his name out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all I'm just gonna say about whoever has something bad to say about anybody opinion, defending anything black, what I'm saying, when anybody black in any entertainment, athletic company, person doesn't get a fair opportunity, and you got something negative to say, especially if you didn't watch the show, then your mama should have swallowed. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's keep moving, man. Your mama should have swallowed, and your daddy should have squirted you out an empty McDonald cup.
Damn.
So, yeah,
Man, salute to you, Big Joe.
What's good to the family? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. We
Yeah,
good,
Yeah,
Big Joe.
I walked in on some foolishness in here. I see what's going on with y'all. What's going on?
We talking about this
I'm sorry,
foolishness
man.
in the NFL inviting
Yeah,
one damn
I
person.
walked in on some foolishness.
Well, Coach, when we did our show HBCU Fanatic, somebody had
Uh,
something negative to say about the
uh,
show. Somebody black, unfortunately, saying basically
oh,
trying
you
to
know.
deter from us from talking about it. So
yeah. Somebody in the HBCU football group. That's the irony of it, Big Joe. So, we just addressing, all the negativity on social media and how like social media is a cesspool for nonsense, negativity, and banana eating monkeys, even ones that are highly educated and graduated from HBCUs.
Mm, awesome. I would say all kinfolk and skinfolk. Skinfolk, kinfolk, whatever. So if you're not outraged that is only one HBCU player that went to the NFL Combine, then that shows a lot about your character.
facts.
So the fact that you even got to have a separate combine for HBCUs is a problem right there. Because meanwhile, during the transfer portal, how many of these big time schools then plug players from HBCUs and put them on their program? So I ain't trying to hear all that. So
Facts.
if you ain't cool with if you cool with the extra, this is somebody who went to a Power Five school or
Yes, sir.
and whatnot. So there's talent all over the place. But like y'all said, when they come down to the draft, you're gonna see a lot of late round picks or free agents who gonna come from HBCUs and are probably gonna make the roster. You know, so and then meanwhile, they don't give them the platform to showcase they talent by going to the combine. Going to the combine validates your hard work. So but if you understand the selection process of the NFL combine, then you're gonna understand why only one HBCU player was selected. So it doesn't surprise me, but it's gonna be at least 10 to 15 that's probably gonna make a roster or even on the practice squad by the time the season starts. So if not, the UFL league and then you got Canadian ball. So
Facts. Facts. Couldn't said it better than myself. Speaking of Big Joe on here with us, man, go ahead and promote
Oh,
Old
him.
Hillside.
oh yes, sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Shout out to everybody. Old Hillside Bourbon Company, black owned, veteran owned company. Founders are from Durham, North Carolina. Hillside is the high school that they all went to. It's a very historic high school. It's one of the prominent black high schools that was there before they had integration. You know, in Durham, if y'all know about Durham, North Carolina, that's where black one of the Black Wall Street
One of the
towns was
Black
at.
Wall Streets, him
So
and Wilmington. Yep.
so black owned, veteran owned. We have everything from a Tennessee whiskey, Kentucky bourbon. We use this. Our master distiller is in Kentucky. So we have everything from we have whiskey that has everything from caramel, vanilla, apple to caramel, vanilla, brown sugar to We have our rye that has caramel. I'm sorry, that has rye, malt, nutmeg, and cinnamon. We have our trifecta blend that has a mixology of three different whiskeys that we have. We have our newest Harlem Hellfighter blend that's dedicated to the World War I veterans who fought overseas, who are on the front lines. So we did an entire blend dedicated to them. This is a black owned and veteran owned. You know, so um, so it's been aged in the French oak wine barrel for 191 days. That's to commemorate them fighting overseas for 191 days in Europe, which is why we use a French oak wine barrel. So that one has caramel, vanilla, and a little bit of a honey taste to it. So that's a special limited edition blend. We dropped that during Black History Month. So we have everything that you need. Old Hillside Bourbon Company. As far as in stores, we're available in North Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Alabama, California, and also Hawaii. We're working on more states as we go along. I think I said Alabama too. We're working on more states as we go along, but you can always order on our website, oldhillsidebourboncompany.com, oldhillsidebourboncompany.com. We can, brothers on the panel can attest, you order something, it'll come straight to your front door. So appreciate everybody for the support. But yeah, come support this black owned business. Even if you don't drink, it's great as gifts as well. We got great for birthdays, holidays, Father's Day. I literally did a tasting yesterday. Somebody literally bought a bottle as a gift for a friend. So hey, it's great for all occasions.
Yeah, this is a good product, man. I got a bottle and I'm gonna buy me another one uh in the future. But this is a good product, man. Especially from my home state, man. Proud of them brothers. But and Big Joe, I'm slow, man. It should have hit me when I knew the brothers was originally from North Carolina, but when it Hillside was in the title, and you said the brothers were from Durham,
Yeah,
it should have rung a bell because Durham Hillside is one of the powerhouses in North Carolina high school football. So I should have
yeah,
known that.
it's all good, brother. We all got a lot we thinking about. It's all good, right? That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, man. Since you're on the panel, man, what is your opinion on you gave most of it, but um, what's your opinion on them only picking a white kicker from North Carolina A&T?
Oh, I didn't know the kicker was white, but that makes all the sense. Yeah, I mean, so out of all the kickers, out of Power Five schools, they couldn't get nobody else. They had to get the one kid who went to an HBCU.
To be fair, the kicker, the black kicker that's better than him,
Mm,
Dion got from Grambling. Dion got him to come over to Grambling.
okay. Um, yeah, man. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, this is the games that they play. Again, you are an HBCU. It is historically black college universities, and then you literally pick the white player from there and you take them and invite them to the combine. That don't make no sense. But again, out of all that talent that's over there, all the talent that's been playing all year, that's the only person that you see that's worthy. Because to go to the combine, they have to watch tape on you. They have to vote on you. It goes through a whole panel process. It comes down to a vote whether somebody gets invited to the combine or not. Is there somebody who's pro ready? Somebody that we all agree can play in the NFL? So it's a whole panel process. So out of all the 40 schools in HBCU, only the kicker is considered to be pro ready and just happen to be white. And hey, not surprised at all. So so it sounded like to me then, if we're being fair, then it sounded like he was a DEI pick because he went to an HBCU. He's white. He was mainly probably the only, you know what I mean? So it sounded like he was a DEI pick then, you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
So,
He said
you know
DI
what I mean?
pick. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it sounded like he was a DEI pick. You know what I mean? Like, well, we gotta get somebody from the HBCU. We gonna pick the man. We're gonna pick our somebody who look like my nephew over here. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. But I want to touch on real quick about the Marshall Falk thing y'all talked about real quick.
Yes, sir.
Um, that was an excellent conversation because I'm thinking back to when I was playing, what happened in the off season and how often I saw my head coach. Um, my first head coach, rest in peace, Craig Thorpe. I didn't see him that much during the off season as far as when it come to weight training, conditioning, and stuff like that. Because the off season is mainly doing conditioning and weight training. You might see the head coach walking around or whatnot. He may pop his head in a workout or two, but normally, you don't really see the head coaches. What you got position coaches for? It's what they got. What you got strength coaches for? What you got assistants for to run that? Because the head coaches out there were either recruiting, talking to boosters, and doing all that other stuff. So, and then when it came to Coach Strong, now I saw Coach Strong a lot. Coach Strong would normally be in the morning team workouts, especially if we're doing mat drills. Coach Strong will be there. Coach Strong would already got a workout in by the time we even start our workout. You'll see Coach Strong running around the school at 5:30 in the morning, and by the time we start working out, he's sitting there watching us drenched in sweat. You know what I mean? But that's just how Charlie Strong is. So it depends on the coach. So I've had both. I've had a coach that wasn't there, and I had a coach that was there. Does that determine wins and losses? Not really. What determines wins and losses is the caliber of coaches you put together and your football acumen. Your X's and O's, and can you put together a program? Can you recruit? Can you get the most out of your players? So just because Marshall Falk is not there for running and lifting, that doesn't mean that they're going to have a good or a bad program. Now, if he's not there for spring ball, then that's different. If you don't see him over there for spring practices at all, then that's something to worry about. Until then, we're just got in March, so they just had their off-season strength and conditioning. We're about to start spring camp pretty soon, so I wouldn't worry about it. As far as him wearing gear for interviews and stuff, that's just nitpicking. Because if you look at any other coach, NFL, college or not, most of them, if they're doing interviews and stuff outside of the facility, they're not wearing no gear. They're wearing polos, they're wearing whatever, they're wearing cardigans, they're wearing soft shell jackets, whatever they got on. I don't know how many times Coach Dion did interviews for a Super Bowl row and he had on no CU gear. So it's just nitpicking. So again, like Coach was saying, some folks wanted him there, some folks didn't. So the folks who didn't want him there, they're gonna nitpick at everything. But if they goes in there and has a winning season, nobody's not gonna care about what they're talking about in March. So so again, I had both. All that matters is if he can win. So if he wins, ain't nobody gonna care.
Facts. If he gonna win, if he wins, then all that does not matter.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of coaching, gonna touch on Colorado a little bit. All the Colorado staff is black now, so
Mm-hmm.
since Rob Livingston was hired on NFL staff, Chris Marv was hired on as the linebacker coach. Now he's taken over as the defensive coordinator. So you got Brennan Marion, the offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator is Chris Marv, and now you got Coach Prime as head coach. So shout out to Colorado. Shout out to Colorado.
I'm gonna be definitely watching now. And they better have them boys playing. I ain't lying.
Yeah, man.
All eyes gonna be on Colorado next season.
Oh, you know it. I ain't gonna lie, Chris Marv was a good little linebacker his day. I feel like he could have got drafted, but he was a good little linebacker at Vanderbilt. So we're gonna see if he can coach. Coach, you stepped off a little bit. Do you have any feedback or anything anything else we say?
No, Big Joe was spot on because not only that, a lot of people was nitpicking the fact that since he became the head coach of Southern, he didn't change the link in his bio to say that he's Southern University's head coach. And literally, someone and I, after church service, after we had communion today, uh, he was saying the exact same thing in terms of like it's nitpicking and like it's minute. And I went to Southern University's season finale basketball game yesterday, and somebody was telling me, like essentially what Big Joe said, this person and I and Jay Good and I had the exact same conversation behind the scenes, and they was like, they really don't know all the stuff that Coach Falk is doing behind the scenes that they can't see that they don't know about. So he was saying he just can't wait until we hurry up and get to the spring game because he feel like all of this is nonsense, is foolishness. And he was like, if Southern goes, he said the same thing I said. If Southern goes 11-2, him not coming to National Signing Day, him not wearing Southern University paraphernalia at press row during the Super Bowl, or him not changing the link in his bio to show that he's Southern University's head coach. Those three things will be relevant. If they go 2-10 again, all right, it's definitely gonna be a problem. But if he didn't do any of those things and they go 11-2 and they win the Celebration Bowl, then y'all not even gonna care about this conversation at the end of December. So at the end of the day, I feel like it's nitpicking at its finest, and the fact that Big Joe kind of highlighted everything I've been saying, it goes to show you that, some members of Jaguar Nation, they kind of fit into this narrative that we talked about at the beginning of the show in terms of the negativity on social media. It's like, come on, man. I mean, I understand it's a dead period of the year during the off season. Not a lot is going on. And these type of stories, they're getting a lot of traction during the off season. This would have been a non-story during the regular season. So I understand that. But come on, man. Like, this is nonsense.
It is nonsense. Just sit back and wait. Just like you said, at least wait until the first or second game and see how everything plays out. But yeah, people are just
Can
ridiculous.
can I add something real quick?
Go ahead, yes sir.
To piggyback what you're saying, Coach. Now, if the players came out and said, "Hey, man, I ain't seen my coach in over a month. Do we have a head coach?" Then you can start talking. But until the players actually say something, you don't know how many times they seen them, have not seen them, communicated, whatever. You know what I mean? Because we have a coach and Deion Sanders who's always in the spotlight, and everybody say he doing too much. Deion be everywhere. Oh man, he doing too much. Why don't he shut up? So when you got Deion who do all this talking, you say he do too much. You got somebody who just got hired, now he's saying he doing too little. When it's not in Marshall Faulk's character to be as boast or brash as Deion Sanders. You know who didn't say too much was Eddie George. I don't remember anybody talking about Eddie George like this. And when Eddie George was out there coaching, I don't remember too many folks supporting Eddie George when he was doing at Tennessee State. They kept complaining about what Deion wasn't doing. You know what I mean? So, hey, it is what it is. But until the players say something, this is a mute point. Again, when you're a player and you're out there training, you put in the work. When you're a player, your most important relationship is with your position coach, not your head coach. You see your position coach every single day. So my D-line coaches, that was who I saw the most. My D-line coach, my D coordinator. Only time I saw the head coach was during the team meetings.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So if you got the players saying, "Hey man, I ain't seen my D-line, I don't even know who my position coach is," then y'all can start nitpicking. Until then, letting the boys do work. Because again, if they win games, they're gonna be the first ones over there cheering, talking about, "Oh, I knew he can do it." So again, it's just nitpicking, disgusting behavior.
Facts, man. Facts. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. But let's go ahead and move on to the combine. We're gonna discuss what players we got our eye on and maybe who are ball clubs that we want to get, or who impressed us in the combine. So got wide receiver Brennan Thompson from Mississippi State. He has the highest 40-yard dash at a 4.26. Uh, and then for a split, 10-yard split, we have Jeff Caldwell, who has the high is the wide receiver from Cincinnati at 1.48. Vertical, you got tight end Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt, former quarterback at 45.50. But it'll be irresponsible for me not to mention as a linebacker Sonny Styles, 43.50. Linebacker from Ohio State. Yeah, like and shout out to Big Joe. He sent that to me. I watched it on live, and also Big Joe sent it to me also. Um, Me and Coach touched on a little bit behind closed doors. Man, these linebackers are getting more athletic, bro, year after year. Um, Sonny Styles used to be a safety, and they transitioned him to a full-time linebacker, and he's been balling ever since. So, like Coach have already have said in the past, these linebackers nowadays have to do everything: play sideline to sideline, cover, beat the offensive guard in the gap, or the offensive lineman into the gap, everything. But there is a con to having these type of linebackers, in my opinion, and I want to see if your brothers have the same opinion. Of course, this shows for different opinions. Not everybody has to be the same. But I feel with these type of athletic linebackers that are normally would have been strong safety back in the gap, they are they are they are food, in my opinion, for the old school mauling guard, like Malachi Becton. He's not a Pro Bowler, but that MF can run block. You hear me? He know how to move people out the way. Or you to go back old school, Larry Allen. With those type of linebackers, they can't get around them type of guards. Once them type of guards get a hold of to them, the smaller linebackers, but they athletic, that's gonna open up the running game. But it's exciting to see these linebackers are athletic. I'm gonna go to you, Coach. What do you think?
Yeah, you and I definitely had this conversation. We talked about it behind the scenes. And the thing about it, if you look at like, we just gonna see a linebacker like, Javon Kirkland, right?
Levon Kirkland, yeah.
Yeah, Levon. I mean, he would be a defensive end in 2026. He wouldn't be a linebacker,
Right.
And then if you look at like one of the Saints linebackers, Pete Warner, man, I'm not gonna lie, like, when you mention Larry Allen, not just Larry Allen, like that whole Dallas Cowboys offensive line from the 90s, man, that's probably the greatest offensive line in the NFL I've seen in my life. But man, they would dominate in 2026. If you
I
insert
agree.
that whole offensive line, put them in 2026 with all of these like hybrid linebacker, defensive back / strong safety, like really these guys are kind of like hybrid linebacker, defensive back, strong safety. That's really like the new wave nowadays. I mean, don't get me wrong, you need guys that could get out. Main thing that you really need to be able to do with all these spread offenses in 2026 is be to get out and cover. But with that being said, when you got athletic offensive linemen that could pull, that could trap, that could get out on a counter tree and lead for a back, man, these guys are going to be a problem for these smallish linebackers in 2026. So I think at the end of the day, I mean, even like I've seen it at Southern with defensive ends like Jordan Lewis and Kelby Givens. Don't get me wrong, these guys are good pass rushers, but even if you look at somebody like Jordan Lewis really struggled when you had a offensive tackle that could really move his
Yes, he's a
feet
good example, Coach.
and keep him in front of him when Jordan Lewis just wasn't able to just run by this offensive tackle, Jordan Lewis struggled. And in all
Big Joe,
actuality,
Jordan Lewis was a linebacker from he was All American FCS at Southern. He was only 6'3" and 215 pounds, but he could get around the corner. He was very athletic. But the junior year he made it All American because of the scheme.
yeah, they ran
Following year,
like a
senior year, when they changed the scheme and he was more of he had to, you
put his
know,
hand in the dirt every
put
play.
his hand in the dirt. He was getting
Yeah,
stonewalled a lot.
yeah, yeah, Big Joe. They essentially went from like a 3-3 stack type scheme, or like a 3-4 scheme, to more like a 4-2-5. And instead of him being that outside linebacker, that either the blitzing inside linebacker, the outside linebacker that would drop and cover sometimes, he primarily was a specialty pass rusher. So when they switched schemes and he had to put his hand in the dirt every play, he went from being an All-American one year to not even making an All-SWAC team his senior year. So part of it was a scheme change, but part of it was when he was rushing before, basically he just running around, slow-footed offensive tackles. But when you match him up against an offensive tackle that could really move his feet, like he struggled. And I kind of see it not just with Southern, but I see it all across football. And like I said, I especially see it in the NFL when I watch the Saints play, when I see Pete Warner. Yeah, he decent in coverage, but when teams run the ball and he got to try to make a tackle, you put a tight end or somebody lead blocking on him, or wham blocking on him, you get an offensive lineman that can actually get a head on him, like he struggles to get off blocks. So I see it all across football. Even when I cover games for the Louisiana All-American High School Network on Friday nights, like when I see these athletic guys, but you got an offensive lineman that's equally as athletic, but a lot bigger and a lot stronger, those guys struggle to get off blocks.
And Big Joe, I'm coming to you, man. What you think? I know we went all over the place, but let me get the question back on track. So basically, um, because it's all over the news how amazing Sonny Styles uh numbers was in the combine. But do you think people sometimes fall? Well, not people. What I mean is NFL coaches fall in love with the athleticism, and then they don't look at the tape and see if he can get around that big mauler. They can move his feet and push motherfuckers out the way.
Right. Um, I think what we see with the outside linebackers and how they're literally built like a Calvin Johnson is just tribute to the evolution of the game of football. So we
Mm,
can talk about how these outside linebackers may have a hard time getting off blocks, but their job is not really to stop the runs. What you got a middle linebacker for? What you got D lineman for? You need your outside linebacker to help cover the slot. You need your outside linebacker to drop into coverage. You need your outside linebacker to cover an Njoku or to cover the tight end who went, from the Falcons. That's what you
mm,
need your outside linebacker for. Then occasionally you'll send him on blitz. He'll be your third defensive end out there. But this is where the game has come from. Like perfect example, back in the days, teams will want to get a Ted Washington, will want to get an Elodie Nada or a Refrigerator Perry. Now you don't see big Gilbert Brown. You don't see those linemen like that no more. So the perfect example of how the game has evolved is a Fred Warner. Fred Warner is typically a middle linebacker who's an outside linebacker.
mm-hmm,
This is where the game has come to. The game is not merely now trying to stop the run; it's trying to stop the pass. A lot of these teams now they're throwing the ball. Not too many teams are running now. Even though the teams that do run the ball, they still got what the MVP was who? Matt Stafford. He threw the ball. You know what I mean? So I can remember the last time a running back actually won the MVP. But where the game is at now, this is where the players have evolved to. So this is just a sacrifice of the game. Even though they may not be able
mm.
to stop the run,
Good point.
they can cover the tight end. They can cover in space. They have fluid. They can swivel their hips. They can stop on a dime, and they can be able to hopefully catch the ball and get you a pick six. So this is where the game has come to now. So this is just a product of that. And as far as the combine goes, the combine overall is just to solidify what they saw on tape. You
Right.
got certain guys who pop out on film. I saw that one quarterback ran like a 4.3. I forgot his name, but now people are gonna be like, okay, he ran a 4.3. Let me go look at his tape and see why we don't know too much about him. So the combine is just to see if it measures up on tape. Are you fast? Are you explosive? Does your strength pop out? You may run a 4.3 on the field, but you probably run a 4.5 in pads. So
Mm.
you're explosive on your broad jump, but are you explosive when you're doing your get off? So you may show up benching 225 for 35 reps, but can you bulldoze somebody and get them up off you? So all the combine is to make sure your measurables add up to your game tape. So a lot of times, a lot of teams, they may get fascinated with how somebody looks with compression shorts and tights on. Then when you put the pads on, you get dog walked by Jason Kelsey, who looks smooth as butter. You know what I mean? Because they have technique and they know how to play football. So Sonny Styles, to me, he's pretty much another Kyle Hamilton. He's kind of built like a Pat Surtain in a way, but obviously Surtain is a cornerback. But the more taller, leaner guys, this is just where we're at now. Like back in my day, everybody wanted a Mario Williams and a Julius Peppers.
Mm-hmm.
So now you don't see
Javon
too
Curse.
many. You don't see too many 6'6", 6'7" DNs now. They all becoming tight ends. You know what I mean? So this is just the evolution of the game. So hopefully all that makes sense.
No, that makes sense because like you put there, more big Pat Williams in the middle, Tony Siragusa's,
Mhm.
because these offensive linemen are have gotten more athletic. So and a lot of times Pat Williams in this today will need to be off the field because how fast paced the game is now because of the passing league. So your
Yeah, because back,
you
'cause back in my day, a prototypical D lineman, you want him to be 6'3", 3'4", 315. And if
right,
you ran a if you ran a 4.9, oh man,
that's good.
nowadays you got a D lineman is anywhere between 270, 290, run a 4.7, 4.6, 40. So now
Right.
you got guys like a Alan Bailey from Texas Tech, who is 6 feet 250, run a four, you run a 4.5, 4.4, something like that.
Yeah, David Bailey. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dave. I'm watching some Alan Bailey. Yeah, that's right. Alan Bailey played with the Chiefs. Yeah, shout out to Alan Bailey. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, David Bailey. Yeah, you got somebody like that. Before they wouldn't even look his way. He built like oh man, he'd be a good whatever. He wouldn't be a DN, but that's just where we're at now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So everybody looking for another Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald ain't a prototypical D lineman. Aaron Donald, what, 6'6"? He said himself, he fluctuated between 250 to 270. You know?
right.
So the game has changed.
Good
And
point.
there's not too many D linemen who's gonna sit there and clog the hole. Most everybody gonna swim the blockers and try to make the play or try to backdoor something and make the play. Ain't too many guys holding up the line like that no more.
No,
You know what I mean? So
no. And um, I'm not gonna lie, man. That's why I was saying, and you remember a couple of shows before the Super Bowl, Coach. I was saying if the Seahawks don't, I don't give a damn how. If they keep stopping the run for the first couple of possessions, do not give up on the running game because the Patriots D run stopping game is not tough like that. Because my Baltimore Ravens, how mediocre we were, exposed that with Derrick Henry, and our offensive line was trash.
well, yeah, that's
And to
just
your
but
point, they
also
had
but
them off athletic Patriots have athletic, like you and Joe was saying, they have athletic linemen. But when we saw when Derrick Henry kept when they kept bouncing off Derrick Henry, they were showing some carnage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Joe.
like to me, when I see a running team, I think of the Lions because the head coach he
Yeah,
wants to run the ball. That's why you got that big old Polynesian lineman there who's a dog. But you have to look for him and want him in the draft. A lot of these offensive coordinators they don't do that. You know what I mean? Like again, we saw in the Super Bowl You know, the running back won the MVP because both teams locked down the throwing game, so they had to run. Best believe they wanted the quarterback to get the MVP, but they shut down everything but the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So don't think that, oh man, he got the MVP. No, the league ain't changed. They both teams
Nope.
just shot down the passing game like, no, y'all gonna run. Y'all ain't throwing nothing.
Yeah, they both secondaries
Yeah,
were playing their ass, especially Christian Gonzalez.
yeah. So,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because I remember as a Saints fan, I remember one year the Saints had like Darren Howard. I think they had I can't think who they had opposite of Darren Howard, but in the middle they had Grady Jackson and Norman Hand.
Please don't say Fred Thomas.
No. Fred Thomas was cornerback. I'm talking about defensive line.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
I think they had, if I'm not mistaken, I think they might have had Will Smith and Darren Howard or whatever.
Yes,
Uh,
Will Smith. Rest in
and
peace.
yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, you could not run the ball up the middle against the Saints with Norman Hand and Grady Jackson. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have them big slop hog duos no more, like Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa, like you said, Gilbert Brown, Haloti Nada. You want guys like, you know, Aaron Donald nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So, like Big Joe said, it's interesting how the game has evolved to where I remember back in the gap. I'm not gonna lie. I remember my senior year at Assumption. Like we ran in the district championship game. We ran the ball. I think we had like 55 plays, and we ran the ball 51 times. And one of them plays, we threw a swing pass to the running back, and it was 3rd and 15, and he got 16 yards. So outside of like a long pass to one receiver and a swing pass that went for 16 yards, we had 3 running plays and we had 51 passes. Hey, in 2026, even on the high school level, all teams want to do is throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? So the game has evolved like literally on all levels. And I just like Big Joe was saying, it's the evolution of the game. In fact, and speaking of Big Joe, it would be kind of interesting, somebody like yourself, whether they want to put you more, if we was to transport you to 2026, would they want to put you more on the offensive line more than anything? Because even though you was athletic, and now in 2026, they probably would want you to be a offensive lineman more than anything.
it's funny you say that, Coach, because I was all state as an O lineman. So I was literally all state as a left tackle, all the best left tackle in the state. So yeah,
Listen, go back and listen to our interview.
I could have easily paid. I easily because I have not only my 6'4", I could play between anywhere between 290 to 315, and I got long arms. I got the wingspan of a condor, so I could have easily been a left tackle. But I always wanted to play D lineman. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, but now, yeah, I probably would have been a left tackle for sure. Laramie Tunsil ain't got nothing on me, and I don't smoke weed. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Just playing. Just playing.
Talk your
Oh
shit,
man.
Joe.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Salute before I go to you, JB. Salute to Brent Fox. He said, "Salute, brothers. Hate I missed most of the show, but I will catch a replay. I appreciate you, brother. Go ahead and take care of business, man. Y'all make sure y'all support Brent Fox. He has a channel as well. It's just me every Thursday. That's the name of his show. Y'all make sure y'all support. Great content. Also, Jada6 said all the more important to draft one. If not, 2 of these offensive linemen, so Lamar doesn't get folded. That's what I'm saying. Anthony Bolton, what's up, man? Memphis man in the building. What's up, Anthony Bolton? But before I go to JB, we were talking about the slop hogs. This is random. Yeah, y'all know who was they wasn't underrated, but a lot of people don't talk about this D lineman, the D lineman, as far as defensive tackle combination. Y'all remember Big Pat Williams and Kevin Williams? And they had Jared Allen on that line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know when the Vikings?
Yes, on Minnesota Vikings. That was
Yeah.
That D line, that D line combination was crazy. You think about it. Kevin Williams was an All Pro. So was Big Pat Williams.
Then you had Jared
Yeah,
Allen
they
too.
could
Oh my
never get
goodness.
a quarterback to
Yeah,
get them over the hump. I think they
that's
had
true.
like Brad Johnson for
And then they or Gus Farad or somebody like that. Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, man. But JB, what's your thoughts on just using Sonny Styles as an example how athletic these linebackers are getting, man, and um just how the game has changed as far as it's moving toward the athletic type linebackers. You know, like Big Joe and Coach just said, just to um defend the pass because the game the NFL now is a passing game on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, for now, yeah. And I think we talked about this, you know, years ago, last year even. I think these linebackers and defensive tackles are gonna keep getting athletic. However, whenever you run up against a team that decides, we gonna run the ball, we gonna get we gonna get big offensive line, we gonna get a star running back, and we gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball down your throat. All that athleticism don't mean shit. We seen that with the Philadelphia Eagles a couple of years ago. They got um, Saquon Barkley. They got like your boy. They had Becton on there. They had Lane Johnson. They had the Samoan dude. I'm
Mm,
not. I'm forgetting his name.
mm-hmm.
And they ran the ball with him and Jalen Hurts, and they were whooping everybody ass. Athletic or not, you can run a 4-4, but you gonna get washed down the field 10 yards when that lineman get a hold of you.
Jason
That's
Kelsey
like
on that
yeah,
line.
like you're hmm like you and the brothers were saying. As long as this is a passing league, it's great. You get to run down screens, you know, or reverses and chase down plays from behind and all that stuff. That's good, and until you run up against a team that says our identity is we're gonna run the ball and we don't care if you stop it. We're gonna run the ball because we know at some point in the game you're going to break.
Mm.
And I just hope that's what Baltimore is going to turn into, and with Lamar ability to be able to make plays, and with his arm, we should be okay. But you know, we'll see. I don't. Who knows what these offensive coordinators are going to do now? They want to be
Facts.
like everybody else.
And speaking of, because I don't want just the linebackers to get or Sonny Styles to get all the press. What about that tight end from Oregon, Sadiq?
A 4.39.
Yeah, man.
I
He and Vernon Davis for a while held the title as being one of the most athletic tight ends that ever was drafted. But Sadiq said, "Let me holler at you." Yeah, man. But I ain't gonna lie. I need to watch tape on Sadiq. When
he
he.
cold.
So you think he's gonna be a
He's
first
cold.
round pick or something? What you
He
think?
should. I think Baltimore needs to be looking at him because I don't think we're gonna be resigning likely. So we need to get either a guard, tight end, or a receiver
But you think he's gonna be there in
first
the
round.
third or fourth round? He a first round pick, from what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying that we should get either the three. Either we're gonna get a guard, a wide receiver, or a tight end. If Sadiq is still there, Sadiq is the only first round player I see that at tight end. To be honest with you, especially with him running the 4.39. So we'll see.
Okay, okay. All right. And Anthony Bolton said, "Yep, that Vikings D line was crazy. Yes, it was." Jada Six said, "Rodeo Jared Allen had to be there." Yeah. Um. Yeah, the athletic ability of talent linebacker and safeties are getting crazy now. Yeah, man, it is. And Big Joe had to hop off, man. He probably had a call business or family, but he'll hop back on if he can. But yeah, but Coach, who else? I don't know if you've been watching the draft. Who else was you think you have your eye on that you want the Saints to get, or who impressed you? Who else impressed you in the draft or in the
Well,
combine? Excuse me.
I'm not gonna lie. In terms of from a Saints perspective, I think the biggest issue with the Saints is the offensive line play. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, I think the fact that you got Tyler Shuck, the quarterback, a lot of people feel like he kind of, with him being mobile and athletic, you know, even him or Spencer Rattler, they feel like the offensive line play isn't as big an issue. I disagree. I still think the offensive line is suspect. So it is what it is in that regard. So I think that's the biggest need for the Saints. One, the offensive line play. I think they need to they need to revamp the entire defense. But in terms of one particular player I'm looking at in the draft, I'm looking at Fernando Mendoza from the standpoint of, is
Hmm.
he really a system guy? Or is he like a legit franchise quarterback in the NFL? Honestly, I'm not sold on him being a franchise quarterback in the NFL. I think he probably would be a good fit for, you know, uh, uh, a team like, I'm gonna say a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe even a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if he goes to a team like the Las Vegas Raiders, nah, I don't know if he's gonna make that. But some people believe in him, others don't. I think only time will tell how good he really is.
Okay. Okay. And Jada Six at a point. It's not just a Sadiq. It's Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt, has a small chance to sneak into the first round. Yes, he does. But the
I
production
forgot
and
about
athletic
Stowers.
testing are there. Yeah, I did too. As far as his first round ability, but the production and athletic testing are there. Yes, it is. Y'all got to watch Sunday Side High School basketball tape. It explains why he's so athletic. See, that's what we were just talking about. Like a lot of these dudes are athletes, man. Yeah, but
Two sport athlete.
yep. But you know who my guy is. I know as far as I'm talking about as my favorite, one of my favorite dudes in the draft. And I knew, and I know we're talking about the combine, but just as far as his numbers and how he's looking, um, is David Bailey. David Bailey, he ran a 4.5, but he plays faster than that. And I know Baltimore Ravens they no more defensive players, and I agree. I just if somehow in the grace of God, if someone just sleep on him and not draft him in the first round, and we get an offensive guard, and this is my dream scenario. If he doesn't get drafted in the first, and we get an offensive guard, or in the first round, and then we get that somebody like a David Bailey in the second, and then we get wide receiver, because there's wide receivers all up in this. I think we can wait until at least uh the third or fourth round to get a wide receiver, in my opinion. Um, yeah, thank you, JD. David Bailey is at Avatar. No swag, but we'll bust your ass, yes, sir. But I want David Bailey on the team, and then along with Mike Green, I'm telling you, man, because we need to get because KVN. I don't know. I don't think we resigning KVN and then we don't know who
Yeah.
what we got in what's number 50 name? I'm blanking on his name. Hell, he haven't been on the field.
Adisa Isaac.
Yeah, Disa Isaac and people like that, and of course David Ajabo. Um he hasn't panned out. So yeah, but yeah, there's athletes at wide receiver. There's athletes at wide receiver, man. If
This
somebody
is a
like
good round to get
Omar Cooper
receivers
Jr.
and
will fall
corners.
to us. That'll be good. Go ahead, JB. What you say?
This is a good draft to get receivers and corners.
Yes. Yeah, man. But fellas, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. I appreciate everybody who's able to come on and show us love. Appreciate you, Big Joe. He had to hop off, had business to take care of. But I appreciate everyone, man. I'm gonna read this J86 comment before we wrap it up. Zion Young, Gabe Jacobs, Derek Moore are more in the Ravens' wheelhouse if y'all are responsible in the draft. Vega at 14. Yes, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. But coach, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
You can meet me and see me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube. Tomorrow night I'm gonna have another edition. Jaguar Talk with Coach 67. Y'all come through and check me out. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal evening, blessed, phenomenal weekend. Peace and blessings to the family. Salute to the awesome and amazing LDBC. Yeah, they.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, 86 Ghosts. Appreciate you, JD6. Appreciate everybody that came by. Andy Bolton, Big Red, again, Joe Townsend, Brent Fox, Relaxing with Calm Rain and Motivation to Be a Millionaire, Jay Barr. Appreciate everyone who ever came by just to listen to us, just chop it up, man. But JB, I appreciate you, man, for taking time out your day to come on, man. I appreciate you.
No problem, man. See y'all next Sunday, God willing. Y'all be blessed.
Yeah, this was another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all be blessed.